Good evening everyone and welcome to the show Immigration and Settlement with Faryal Hussain. ये आप शो देख रहे हैं वॉइस ऑफ टोरंटो टीवी पे जो कि नशर होता है एवरी सैटरडे 8 PM ईस्टर्न स्टैंडर्ड टाइम। आज के शो में जो जिन गेस्ट को बुलाया है वो गेस्ट मेरे साथ अंग्रेज़ी में बात करेंगे और इन गेस्ट का यहाँ पे होने की वजह यह है कि ये मेरे इमिग्रेशन का शो जो है इमिग्रेशन और सेटलमेंट का शो है। तो सिर्फ इमिग्रेशन की बात नहीं होती, सेटलमेंट की बात भी होती है। सेटलमेंट यानी कि एज ए टेम्परेरी रेजिडेंट और एज ए परमानेंट रेजिडेंट, ये दोनों जानिब से भी हो सकता है, और इवन सेटलमेंट एज ए कैनेडियन सिटीजन। मेरे शो पे आज है मिस्टर जोआओ जिमरमैन and he was an international student, he's graduated and now he's an aspiring permanent resident. Mr. Zimmerman, thank you for coming in.
Hi, thank you for having me on the show and thank you for the opportunity for me to share my story with everyone and my background. Your
story is very interesting and there's a reason why I've asked you to come in. I mean, I've met with many international students from all over the world. International Student Program is a very important program for the Canadian economy as well, because the Canadian economy is made of all these different fibers, of these different people who come in with their skill set. But the international students are the ones that come here to acquire the education, acquire the knowledge, become a part of the society, and then obviously become a part and give back to the society. So now, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? When did you come to Canada?
Yes,
how did it happen?
Yes, I'm originally from Brazil. I moved into Canada when I was 15 with the purpose of studying. So I spoke to my family. I want to, essentially the plan was to do 1 year abroad and learn, basically get my English better. And once I came here, I decided to stay a bit longer because I really liked the program, really liked the country, and my parents felt that it was a very safe country and the education level was a bit higher than the one I was having at home, as I had the opportunity here to take on more specific programs for high school. The one I chose was the International Baccalaureate program, where I had the opportunity to work a bit with a bit more advanced subjects and essentially pursue a degree in university of my choice.
Ordinarily it's thought that 15 is very young. So were your parents okay with you coming? Was it a struggle to convince them?
Yes, definitely. I spoke to them many times in the past before I was 15, like since I was 13. That was an idea that was bringing to them. They weren't really happy because parents are scared to have their children fly abroad, especially alone. And so then my idea was basically to select a few countries where they would have specialized schools for that. They were more experienced in having international students that were planning to study abroad without the care of a parent. And I came with 3 choices, which was the UK, Switzerland, and Canada. And the 3 countries had specialized teams for guardianship of children and taking care and boarding schools and all that. So the decision to come to Canada was mainly because my parents saw the country as a secure place. It had more opportunities for me to grow once I had finished school here, and there were a lot of choices in terms of like immigration and university, and essentially overall for them was a better choice to have me here.
Did you have family or friends here, a support network of any sort when you came at 15?
No,
none whatsoever.
No, I did not have any friends here. I actually hadn't even visited Canada before coming here. What led me to feel safe with my choice was I spoke a lot with the high school I was going towards, and it was a boarding school. It was in Ottawa at the time, and I had several interviews with them where they were telling me a little bit of how it works and what happens when I come here and how many challenges I would face and how I can go about these challenges more swiftly. And
was it scary when you first came?
Yes, it was definitely very scary. I came at the time, it was end of 2013. I came with my my dad and my sister, and basically they stayed 2 weeks before school started with me here, so I can get to know the place and everything. And Ottawa was incredible, so we were really happy, and we visited the school. Everything was perfect, but it was really harsh when they had to leave and I had to stay there, especially alone. I felt I was ready at the time, but I wasn't really. It was a bit scary, but it was a great experience. I grew a lot from it, and I would have done the same in the past. I had a great experience, made lots of friends, and learned so much. And I think it was a very valuable, if not the most valuable experience I had in my life.
Excellent.
Yes.
No, because as you know, I'm an immigration consultant as well, and I do get a lot of inquiries from people who want their family, or they want their nieces or nephews, or even from some other country, they want their children to come here. So the purpose of having Joel on the show is to get the perspective from the other side of somebody coming here, especially at such a young age. And well, you can see him now. So are you working right now? Have you finished studies?
Yes,
Just briefly.
Yes, I finished university in 2020, and I started working right after as a financial analyst, and now I'm pursuing the permanent residency through the Express Entry program.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, so the reason to choose Canada, was it your choice, or was it your parents' choice? Was it a collective choice?
It was definitely a collective choice.
Yeah.
My parents were more happy with Canada for many reasons. First, it was closer. They felt it was more safe, especially Ottawa, which was a smaller city, and also the opportunities with immigration for the future. All the programs that Canada offers, so that played a big role.
Has anybody from your family followed in your footsteps ever since you've come here? Extended family?
No, not yet. My cousin is interested in coming to Canada. He's younger than me, and he wants to follow the same path, come for high school and everything.
Right.
But everyone else in my family is older than me. I'm the youngest.
You were the youngest, and you were allowed to come at 15?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So overall, so you came in 2013.
Yes.
So 8 years now?
8 years now.
So these 8 years, overall, how has the experience been?
It was it was great. Like, in my opinion, it was a great experience. I love Canada. I've grown very used to Canada, and I think because I was here since a young age, I feel that this is my home now, and it's definitely I really enjoy my time.
Were there any times that, like, sometimes life goes on a very normal horizontal path, but sometimes there's like a roller coaster ride?
Yes.
Were there any times that were very high and everything was great, and then sometimes really bad, and you're like,
yes.
What am I doing here?
Yes, for sure. Winter.
We don't have winter. What winter? What winter?
No, yeah, coming from Brazil is a very different experience with everything. So in terms of schooling in general, it's a different language. And although they have international schools, which I was in, it's a bit different than the ones here. So the main language is still Portuguese, but they also have English being spoken at the same time as well. It took me a while, but I definitely got the hold of it. And I guess another challenge for me was to grow independent from, essentially at that age you're so used to your parents always being on top of things for you.
Right.
And whereas when you make these choices to go abroad and be independent, you have to make the choices for yourself and be definitely much more responsible. Yes.
My next question is, what were the biggest 3 challenges that you faced? But don't answer those.
Yeah.
Think about the answer. We're going to go for a break. So a quick break, and we will continue our discussion with Mr. Zimmerman about his journey from where he came at the age of 15 from Brazil into wonderful Canada.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
जिंदगी शम्मा की सूरत हो खुदाया मेरी।
मुस्लिम वेलफेयर सेंटर के जरिए आप पाकिस्तान के रेगिस्तान में प्यासों को पानी पिला सकते हैं, गरीब बच्चों की तालीम और माली परवरिश कर सकते हैं, बीमारों का मुफ्त इलाज करवा सकते हैं। ज़कात, सदक़ात या फिदिया देने के लिए आज ही हमें फ़ोन करें 1-866-754-3111।
A harsh but true reality is that clean drinking water is inaccessible to many people living in third world countries. With the support of our donors, Muslim Welfare Canada has been successful in providing clean water through the digging of water wells and the installation of hand pumps for people living in remote and desert regions. Donate a well or a hand pump, call 1-866-754-3111 or visit mwcanada.org. Muslim Welfare Canada has made a concerted effort to lead the fight against child labor, poverty, and illiteracy in third world countries through the generous support of our donors. Both girls and boys receive free, good quality education. Help educate a needy child for just $1 a day or $30 per month. Donate generously. Call 1-866-754-3111 or visit mwcanada.org. Since 1993, MWC Food Banks have provided individuals and families with non-perishable food, halal meat, and essential household items. We have a special focus on the needs of our children. Over 10,000 families across Canada rely on MWC Food Banks to supplement their food requirements. We serve in Scarborough, Mississauga, and in First Nations communities in Ontario, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. Your generosity can literally change lives. It's time now, more than ever, to look after your neighbor. Charity starts at home. Please donate generously to Muslim Welfare Canada Emergency COVID-19 Food Fund. Call 1-866-754-3111 or visit mwcanada.org.
Thank you for coming back with us, or being back with us after the break. We are talking to Mr. Joao Zimmerman. Joao जो है ये इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट के तौर पे आए थे 15 साल की उम्र में, और उसके बाद उन्होंने यहाँ पे ग्रेजुएट किया. Joao, are you understanding what I'm saying in Urdu at all?
No.
No, why are you
I'm
nodding? No, he's so
I
serious.
like to pretend I do, yes.
हाँ, तो 15 साल की उम्र में आए थे. इन्होंने ग्रेजुएट किया. Where did you graduate from?
From university, I graduated from University of Toronto, the Mississauga campus.
Mississauga campus. University of Toronto से ग्रेजुएट किया और अभी ये CIBC के साथ एज अ फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट काम कर रहे हैं. तो इनकी जर्नी जो है मैंने वैसे तो इस शो से पहले भी सुनी है, बट आई वांटेड कि हमारे व्यूअर्स भी सुन लें कि एक उस पर्सपेक्टिव से, इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट के एंगल से क्या मुश्किलात इनको पेश आई, स्पेशली इतनी यंग एज पे आने पे, और स्पेशली यहाँ पे कोई इनकी फैमिली या इनके फ्रेंड्स नहीं थे और ये यहाँ पे आए. So what I was saying is that you've came here at the age of 15, you graduated, you're working, and now we're getting your side of the story of how it was. So I asked you the question, what were the 3 major challenges you faced over the last 8 years?
Yes, so one of the major challenges I faced, I feel at first, was definitely being homesick. It took a while to adjust being without my parents, without my family. And you know, I was only going to Brazil mainly once or 2 times a year, so I was missing all the events. So it felt a little awkward, but you know, I got through it. You definitely get used to it, and what is good is that you make sure you enjoy the time with your family when you do see them. Yes. Another challenge I had was definitely getting used to the culture here. Canada is very diverse, and everyone, I guess, is more used to international people coming in. But as an international person, like coming from Brazil, there's a lot of different aspects here. There was I didn't know about, so the food and the customs of people and everything. So it was a bit of an adjustment, but it was a positive adjustment. It's definitely, I definitely enjoyed that. And
how about the change in the climate, the weather?
yes,
Because Brazil and Canada is just a little bit of difference.
yes.
So how was that?
That was definitely a big one. So in Brazil, it's mainly, especially where I'm from in Brazil, which is São Paulo, it's very sunny all year long. Winter is a bit cold, but our cold there is like 17 degrees.
That's not cold.
yeah, that's not cold.
That's not cold.
And yes, in Ottawa, my first winter in Ottawa actually was I think hardest winter in 50 years.
We did that on purpose.
Yeah, they did that on purpose. Yeah, it was to prepare me for the
Yeah.
other ones. And the average temperature was negative 25, which I would tell my parents, and nobody at home would believe it.
Yeah.
They're like, "There's no way." Yeah, and that was really harsh getting used to, the shorter days and everything. But there's another side to it, which is like learning how to enjoy winter, because there's a lot of things you can do in the winter that you can't do in summer. So I made sure I went skiing and went to do snowboarding, all these things you do, in the cold, and you get a sense of how to enjoy the winter. So
Yeah.
that was really fun. Yes.
So you only went back a couple of times a year. Was your family able to come visit you while you were here?
Yes, my parents, due to work, they couldn't come as often, but they would try to come at least once a year. So my brother and my sister would also come with them, but it was mainly, it was easier instead of the family coming here, because I was alone here. It was easier for me to go there, so try to go in the summer. And as well as at Christmas time. That was the 2 times I would go back.
How has it been during the pandemic? Were you able to go at
No,
all?
I actually have not been able to go for 3 years now. I haven't seen my parents.
Wow.
Yes, and but I'm going
But
soon.
you can say hi to them.
Yeah, hi, hi, mom. And so the plan now, in fact, I just scheduled a vacation this September, beginning of September, to go and see my family for about 10 days, and I'll also see them again in Christmas, finally.
Sounds
Yes.
good. Sounds good. No. What do you know now that you wish you had known before?
Wow.
While you were going through your studies, while you were changing your institutions, while you were moving, renting places, getting a car, getting a driving license, what information do you have now that you wish, I wish I had known this then?
Well, immigration is definitely a strong factor there. I wish I knew more. During that times, there were a lot of programs that I could definitely have participated. That would make easier for my whole process of permanent residency here in Canada, which I wasn't aware at the time. So I think a lot of the times that should be more clear when international students come here.
In your opinion, whose responsibility do you think it should be to make it more clear to the international? Should it be their education institutions? Should it be IRCC's responsibility? Should it be like?
Yeah, I think it should be a collective effort. Definitely the educational institution, because they have a more direct contact with you. But I guess the RCC would definitely be a great one, because you're doing your nowadays everyone does the entire application online, and it would be much easier if they could just send an email with a letter explaining, here are your choices after that. How do you go from this, from as a student to a worker, if you'd like to do so. So that would be great.
And for this particular reason that you didn't know about the various programs that you could have qualified under, or just didn't have that information, ready for you. This is why there are the regulated immigration consultants
Yes.
to guide you, such as myself, such as so many others that are in the community. The problem arises when you get information from other means who
Yes.
have misinformation. my dad always says a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Whatever your other friend is saying to you, if he or she is an international student, they may be speaking from their own angle, own criteria, own profile, own country of origin, own experiences that may not apply to you.
Exactly.
So it's much better to go, I always say on the show, go directly to the source,
Yes.
ircc.ca,
Yeah.
that's the source, or come to somebody who is licensed, who has had the education and training to assist you.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Yes,
I had to do that pitch. Right? Okay, just a couple of more questions.
Yes.
We won't hold you for too long. So in your opinion, what amendments should the Canadian government make to the international student program now that you are out of the program and you're on your way to becoming a permanent resident? What amendments should be to make it, I don't want to say easier, but better for the international student, but also better for the institution and better for Canada in the long run?
Itself. Yes. Well, one of the main points, I guess, it gets discussed a lot in the international community, in universities and colleges around Canada is definitely the fees. So international students have to pay a much higher fee than domestic students. And that makes sense in a lot of cases because of the entire work that there is, in terms of background check, everything that goes into it. But I think it definitely would be better if they, because these large fees sometimes for a lot of students, it puts them in a position where they're not able to grow a lot in the country in terms of seeking for different opportunities, investments, or even investing themselves. So maybe do more courses at the university, because as a student, you're really trying to put the money that you have onto yourself. You're trying to grow yourself so you become a better asset for whatever job you choose later. So I think if Canada decreased these fees, it would allow international students to do that in a much more efficient manner. Yeah.
But the flip side of that is, and this could turn into a debate, is that sometimes an international student comes, he or she studies for one semester, and then they say, oh, we don't have money for the rest of the fees. And then what happens? They're stuck here, and then they sometimes try to find backdoor kind of ways to stay here. And it's unfortunate because of those instances, these strict policies are in place, like the GIC policy. There are a certain number of countries. If you are coming from those countries as an international student, you can purchase a GIC for $10,000. Oh, so that secures the payment for the next fee schedule.
I see.
Yeah. Now, you are a wealth of information in yourself, because you've grown not just as a student, but from a 15-year-old to, how old are you, 42 now?
I'm 24 right
24, now. So from 15 to 24, you've acquired so much, not just as an international student, but also as a person. From 15 into this wonderful adult who's now working at CIBC as a financial analyst. What advice would you want to give to aspiring international students, or to parents or family members who do want their children or nephews or nieces or friends' kids to come here? What advice would you give? They're right there.
Yes. I think my greatest advice is, if you have the opportunity to send a relative here, or you yourself is interested in coming to Canada, to study or even to work, I think it's a great choice. There's a lot of opportunities in Canada. Education system is one of the best in the world. I had a great time. It's a completely safe country, and I think, speaking of immigration, since we're here, it's a country that has so many opportunities for immigrants, as the country makes a huge effort to assimilate international people into the country as early as it can be, and it's moved the entire process of you getting a job or studying, and after even getting permanent residency and citizenship in the country. So my advice is definitely go for it, take a chance, you won't regret it. And I think that's
great. That's great advice, because you only live once. So if you have the opportunity, seize the day, seize the
And-
moment, and take that opportunity.
Yes, and definitely contact an immigration officer. That will make your life so much easier. You
Immigration
save-
consultant.
Yeah, consultant.
You
Yeah,
said
consultant.
officer. Who used to be an immigration officer.
You used to be an immigration officer. Hire an immigration consultant. It will save 2 years of your life.
you're so
For sure.
No, it's true. I always say this other thing, knowledge is power. Knowing what the regulations are, how they can be applied to you or may not be applied to you. We've had this wonderful discussion. Thank you for taking time out of
Thank
your
you.
busy schedule.
No, thank you for
Hopefully, once you become a permanent resident, you will let us know and we can bring you on again.
Yes, for sure. I would love to. Yeah, I would love to share my experience.
एक्सलेंट आज के लिए इतना ही काफ़ी है और आप अपने इस शो के बारे में कोई एडवाइस देना चाहें, कोई राय देना चाहें, कोई आपके पास सजेशंस हों, हमें आप नोट लिखिए फेसबुक पे या आप स्टूडियो पे कॉल कर सकते हैं 905-760-670-1441. Thank you and see you next week. Bye.